Okay, so we're working on a example, and this time we're going to find sales tax for a hotel. So the cost of a hotel room rented for 2 nights is $280. There's also a 12% hotel room tax. What is the total cost of the hotel room? So I already have the information down in regards to our 2 nights. Wrong problem. All right, so our 2 nights should actually be $280. And then our tax for the hotel, it's called a hotel tax, and it's going to be 12%. And then we need to know what the total price is going to be. So remember that in order for us to find the total price, we'll need to add the dollar amount of the sales price with the dollar amount of the tax price. And then adding those two together come out to give us the total price that needs to be paid for the hotel room. All right, so we're going to use method 1A. That's the swing method. So we're talking about our ratio. So I'm going to still write my P and my W. That lets me know that this is a part to whole ratio comparison. All right, and on one side we have our numbers, and on the other side we're going to have our percentage. So what do we know in regards to a number, either the part or the whole, and they give us the $280, which is the whole amount that needs to be paid for the rooms. And then they also give us the 12% tax that needs to be paid. So that's a part of the whole percentage, which is 100%. All right. And then remember, I don't know why I put the percent there. We just write the numbers. All right. So we have our 12 and 100. And then this is going to be X over here. X is going to represent how much the dollar amount that we need to pay for the taxes. All right, so under the swing method, I know that I'm going to go from one side to the other. I'm using the side that has two pieces of information. Okay, we can't use this one here to start off because we're missing a piece of information, so we don't know what this answer is going to be. So we're going to start down here. All right, and then I see that I'm going from 280 to 100. I know that I am decreasing. I'm going to use what I know about base 10. We're dividing it into 100. So that means I'm going to make this number smaller. So I see two zeros, and that lets me know that I need to move this 1, 2. So that's going to be divided by 2.8. Okay, I moved it two places. The decimal now sits between the 2 and the 8. If you do not understand that method, you feel more comfortable with the calculator, that's totally fine. So you would type in $280 divided by what number to give us this here. So remember that in division, you're talking about two parts that when you multiply them, they give you the whole. So I don't know what this part was, but I do see the other part. So I can replace them or interchange them to find the missing piece. So 280, we're going to divide that by 100. And then you'll see that it is the same thing that we had, which was 2.8. All right, we also know that what I do to the bottom, I do to the top if I am going in the same direction. Look at my directions. I'm going from left to right, and now I'm going from right to left. So they are not going in the same directions. The only thing that needs to change is my operation. So I'm no longer going to divide by 2.8. I'm now going to multiply by 2.8. All right, so I take that 2.8, which is already in our calculator. I multiply that by 100. I'm sorry, by 12. And that gives me 33.6. So X is equal to 33.6. But remember, we're talking about money. And let me move my calculator. So we're talking about money, and we know that it needs to be in dollars and cents. So this is our dollars, and our cent is zero point 0.6 or 60. So X in terms of dollar amount is going to be 33.60. We need two places after the decimal when we're talking about money because we're talking about dollars and cents. Cent, remember, means 100. So we're going to the 100th place. All right, so now what we need to do is add our sales price to the tax price, and then we'll have the total price. So our sales price is 280. We're going to add in the 33.60. And when we add those two together, we get $313.6. So what that means is the total price is $313.60. Now let's look at it using the other method that we talked about, which is properties of operation. And I'm not going to rewrite all of this at the top. I'm just going to use the method so you can see and we can compare it. All right, so in method two, we're talking about properties of operation. All right, so we have that down here. So we're still going to write out our ratio. It's going to still be the same in regards to our part and our whole. So what we have is our part to whole ratio. We have one side that will have our dollar amount. The other side will have our percent. And then we're going to fill in what we know about the whole amount, which is $280. We know that she's paying 12% tax, and the total amount when we talk about percentage is 100. X is going to represent our total tax amount. Okay, so what we're doing under method two, we're simplifying the ratio over here. Okay, and so to simplify that, we have 12 over 100. So remember base 10, that looks like this, 12%, right? And so to convert it into a decimal equivalent, we know that we're talking about 100. We're making it smaller. So we're going to drop our percent sign, turn it into a decimal, and then we're going to move it 2 places to the left. So 1, 2. Okay. So that is the same thing as 0.12. Okay. That's what we have there. All right. So another way, of course, is using your calculator. And if you use the calculator, you would just plug in 12 divided by 100 to get the same amount that we have. So 12 out of 100 is the same thing. Okay. So I want you to try to start getting into the habit of learning that you can just move the decimal. It'll save you a little time and make solving problems a little bit easier. So we know that it's 12%, right? And so now what we need to do is we're solving for x. So x over 280 is equal to 0.12, right? The x is not isolated. So remember, I need to look at what's happening over here with the x. We see a fraction bar. We know that that means it's being divided. So I need to multiply both sides by 280. So 280 here. Okay, 280 divided by 280. I can cross that out. I'm left with x on the left-hand side. And now I'm just going to multiply 12 hundredths. So 0.12. And we're going to multiply that by 280. All right, so we get 3360, right? Or 33.6. And remember, we're talking about dollars and cents. So it would be 3360. We need to go to the hundredths place. All right, so now to find the total amount that's paid, we need the sales price, which was $280. So $280 plus the sales tax, which is $33.60. And when we add those two together, we get $313.60. So it's just a little bit easier than what we did before. So this is method 2, properties of operation. And then this was method 1A, where we use the swing method.